They're coming to America. They are coming by the hundreds of thousands. Who are they? They are the people who want the American dream, the chance for a better life. America is a nation of immigrants, so what's the problem? The problem is the number of illegal immigrants in the United States. There are millions of people waiting to gain citizenship. There is a great need to simplify the process to make it less complicated and affordable. There is also a need to quickly create an identification card which includes biometrics. Biometrics is a way to accurately identify a person, making it harder for criminals to apply for immigration process for which they are not eligible. By simplifying the process, making it affordable, and using biometric identification cards, it will clear the congestion of the process and make the transition to citizenship a smoother process. The number of undocumented immigrants in the U.S. will decrease, resulting in a larger legal population contributing to the American dream. The current immigration process is hard to understand and navigate through. There are many application forms, fees, and required supplemental documentations. The Citizenship and Immigration Service officials reported applicants go through 7 years of lawyers, paperwork, and studying to get an interview for citizenship. The Department of Homeland Security reports it can take several years to become a permanent resident. After becoming a permanent resident, the immigrant will need to stay in the United States and establish permanent residency for 5 years without extended absences. Once the 5 years are up, they will then be able to apply for naturalization. It can take between 6 months to a year if they already are a permanent resident and have established residency in the United States for the required time. According to Pew Research, there are more than 11 million illegal immigrants already in the United States. It is reported that the typical illegal alien comes to the U.S. primarily for a better job and in the process adds value to the U.S. economy. However, they also take away value by weakening the legal and national security environment. Kane and Johnson report when 3 out of every 100 people in America are undocumented, there is a profound security problem. An American economist and PhD Tim Kaine believes that even though they pose no direct security threat, the presence of millions of undocumented migrants distorts the law, distracts resources, and effectively creates a cover for terrorists and criminals. It must be decided now what to do with the existing illegal immigrants in order to reduce the national security risks caused by the lack of identity of those immigrants. In order to preserve national security, we cannot allow criminals and terrorists to enter or stay in the country. There is a possible solution called amnesty. Amnesty is a pardon to those who have committed political offenses. It might be one of the best solutions for illegal immigrants that have proven themselves to be law-abiding and self-reliant. Those who seriously want to receive amnesty should be willing to go through an amnesty process. As stated in Epstein and Weiss's article in the Journal of Population Economics, the United States could grant an amnesty to any worker who can demonstrate that they fulfill certain requirements, such as length of stay in the country and no criminal record. Should we grant amnesty to those illegal immigrants who have proven that they are hard-working contributors to society? The majority of Americans voted yes in a study done by Krogstad and Passel, authors of Pew Research in 2014. They found that amnesty would be a good option and that many illegal immigrants should be allowed to stay in the country. The individual states can work with the federal government to help those immigrants who are already here by issuing amnesty. Amnesty with strings attached allow an illegal immigrant to find a feasible path to citizenship. To support President Reagan's act, Arizona passed the Legal Arizona Workers Act with the approval of the Supreme Court in 2011. Arizona law not only imposed penalties against the businesses that hire the illegal immigrants, they also implemented E-Verify, a system that helps businesses to determine if the immigrant is legal to work in the United States. E-Verify is an internet-based system that compares information from an employee's I-9 form to data from the U.S. Department of Homeland Security and Social Security Administration records, which confirms employment eligibility. Without proper identification, there is fear for deportation. Deportation has been part of the current solution, but the government can hardly keep up, and there are several issues that complicate the option of deportation. There are extensive costs associated with locating illegals and the issue of whether or not it's humane to split up families. It's a difficult decision since many immigrant children are legal U.S. citizens and the parents are not. Lauren Brown, a researcher from the University of Houston, states, "Once in this country illegally, the U.S. government has taken the position that as long as serious crimes are not committed by illegal immigrants, their deportation will not be a priority. It enhances the attraction for other would-be violators, creating additional incentives for illegal border crossings. If more than 600,000 people each year are able to enter and remain in the U.S. unlawfully, avoiding detection and deportation, it must be acknowledged that government has not taken the issue seriously and its methods of immigration law enforcement are woefully inadequate. At $113 billion per year in cost to the U.S. for the presence of 11 million illegal immigrants, government would be well advised to do more to curb the flow through the borders." End of quote. The cost that the U.S. spends in deportation has been reported by the Center of American Progress. It would actually be $10,000 per person, including apprehension, detention, legal processing, and transportation. It has been suggested that the process for citizenship be simplified with a reduction in fees. The incoming immigrants can pay taxes into a perpetual immigration fund over the first 10 years of citizenship to cover the costs incurred by this process. This simplification would reduce the backlog and create a special fund to cover costs of implementation. An identification card used by each state would process the biometrics required when the immigrant applies for a driver's license or ID. The local DMVs would be able to electronically send the biometrics needed to conduct a proper security check on each applicant using the new biometric system. These simple steps would help create an atmosphere in communities where illegals are not afraid of the threat of deportation and would better be able to find work becoming a contributing member to their communities in which they live. Town hall meetings can encourage compliance and develop community trust. If they have begun the legal, simplified path to citizenship, then with instruction and training, there could be less fear of deportation, and hopefully more men and women will come out of the shadows. There is reason to say there is need for change because these undocumented immigrants are intertwined in our communities. These individuals have become a part of American society, and it is important to find a way to legalize them so that the government knows who they are and that they are not criminals. All citizens need to work together in an effort to assist the current hopeful immigrants in obtaining citizenship. These proposed changes are an effort to reduce the number of undocumented immigrants, implement identification through biometrics, and clear the path to citizenship, making it more affordable. The undocumented immigrant population are individuals that make up family members, neighbors, and co-workers. Americans want a fair and legal process that can be adhered to by all who desire to become citizens, as many ancestors have done. Let freedom ring again.